Another day, another story. On Friday, residents of Rodanthe in North Carolina's Outer Banks witnessed another unfortunate, yet increasingly common, event: a house collapsing into the ocean. The combination of high tides and waves from Hurricane Ernesto, which was hundreds of miles away, contributed to the latest collapse that took place at Hatteras Island in Rodanthe. No one was inside the home at the time, according to reports. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. Rodanthe, a community of roughly 184 residents, has lost 7 homes to the ocean in the past 4 years, according to the National Park Service. Much of that may be attributed to climate change, according to the New York Times. Officials warn that more homes are at risk as Ernesto continues to affect the East Coast, though the storm is not expected to make landfall in the United States. The National Hurricane Center warned that Ernesto will bring potentially life-threatening rip currents and high surf along the East Coast, particularly in North Carolina and South Carolina, over the next couple of days. Cape Hatteras National Seashore, provides the following updates on the August 16, 2024, house collapse and information about seashore beach conditions in Rodanthe and Buxton. A house in Rodanthe, located on North Carolina's Outer Banks, has collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean. This is not the first time such an event has occurred in the area. Erosion and rising sea levels are major factors contributing to these collapses, which have become more frequent in recent years. The Outer Banks is known for its narrow barrier islands, which are particularly vulnerable to the effects of coastal erosion and severe weather. The collapse of these homes poses environmental concerns as debris can spread across the beaches and into the ocean, creating hazards for wildlife and complicating cleanup efforts. Local authorities often face challenges in managing these situations, especially when multiple homes are at risk. Rodanthe, the seashore team has coordinated with the owner of the house that collapsed on Friday, August 16, 2024, at 23,214 Corbina Drive in Rodanthe. The Seashore and Pea Island National Wildlife Refuge have permitted cleanup activities which started yesterday around 1 p.m. Debris from the collapsed home has been observed up to approximately 11 miles north of the home collapse site. The beach remains closed from Merlot Beach to the parking lot on the north end of the Jug Handle Bridge. Cleanup activities will continue over the coming days. Substantial damage has also occurred to several other threatened oceanfront structures in northern Rodanthe between the G.A. Kohler Drive area and the north end of Merlot Beach. Visitors should avoid the beach in these areas due to the presence of hazardous debris. The seashore is communicating with Dare County and conducting a detailed assessment of debris and hazards associated with damaged structures in Rodanthe. Coordination will occur between house owners, rental property management companies, and the seashore once elevated surf conditions subside, and the full extent of damage is known. Buxton: ongoing erosion and elevated surf conditions in front of the village of Buxton has resulted in ocean overwash under many homes and into neighborhoods. Hazardous debris, broken from beachfront houses, may be present on the beach and in the water. Seashore staff have observed evidence of compromised septic systems. Therefore, the seashore is advising that the public should not go in the water until follow-up inspections are made. All areas of the seashore there is a high risk of rip currents, hazardous shore break, and rough ocean conditions. Visitors should stay out of the water to avoid these life-threatening, hazardous ocean conditions. A beachfront house in Rodanthe, North Carolina, collapsed into the ocean on August 16, 2024. The incident took place on Corbina Drive, marking the 7th home to be claimed by the sea in this area over the past 4 years. The collapse occurred due to elevated sea conditions caused by offshore Hurricane Ernesto, which has been generating powerful waves and coastal erosion. Fortunately, no one was inside the house at the time, and there were no reported injuries. However, the situation has prompted warnings from Cape Hatteras National Seashore officials for visitors to avoid the beaches in the affected area. Dangerous debris from the collapse is spreading along the coastline, posing a risk to beachgoers in nearby villages like Waves and Salvo. Officials are in contact with the homeowner, but debris removal efforts are on hold until the storm subsides. This event highlights ongoing concerns about coastal erosion and the future of properties along this vulnerable stretch of the Outer Banks. The collapse of the Rodanthe house on August 16, 2024, has drawn significant attention due to its dramatic nature and the broader implications for the Outer Banks region. The house was one of several properties on Corbina Drive at risk of falling into the ocean due to severe coastal erosion. This issue has been exacerbated by rising sea levels and frequent storms, which have caused significant damage along this stretch of the North Carolina coast. This particular collapse is part of a troubling trend in Rodanthe, where 6 other homes have fallen into the ocean since 2020. The problem has become so severe that local officials are considering various mitigation strategies, including beach nourishment and relocating homes further inland. However, these solutions are costly and complicated by insurance issues, as coverage for such incidents can be limited or unclear. Video footage of the collapse captured the house breaking apart and being swept into the ocean, with debris spreading rapidly along the shoreline. This has raised concerns about the environmental impact, as the debris poses hazards to marine life and beachgoers. Cleanup efforts are expected to begin once the sea conditions calm down, but this incident underscores the urgent need for more sustainable coastal management practices in the area. The recent collapse of the beachfront home in Rodanthe, North Carolina, has intensified concerns about the future of coastal properties on the Outer Banks. The area is increasingly vulnerable to erosion, with homes like the one on Corbina Drive facing immediate threats from the encroaching ocean. This specific home became the 7th to be lost in Rodanthe over the past 4 years, a stark reminder of the ongoing battle between man-made structures and nature. Local officials and residents are grappling with difficult decisions on how to respond to the relentless erosion. Some possible solutions include relocating homes further inland, which can be extremely expensive, and beach nourishment projects that attempt to replenish the sand lost to the ocean. However, these measures come with their own set of challenges, including high costs and the potential need for ongoing maintenance. The debris from the collapsed house is now scattered along the coastline, posing significant risks to both the environment and public safety. Cape Hatteras National Seashore officials have issued warnings to the public to avoid the affected areas due to dangerous debris and unpredictable ocean conditions. The cleanup efforts, which are being delayed until sea conditions improve, will be a complex task given the extent of the spread. This event highlights the urgency of addressing climate change and its impact on coastal communities. As sea levels continue to rise and storms become more frequent, the Outer Banks, like many other coastal regions, faces an uncertain future. Long-term solutions will require not only local action but also broader policy changes to mitigate the effects of climate change on vulnerable coastal areas. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.